I am not hiding, people. I'm not hiding. Back again, back again, back again, back again. I am back again. Hopefully some people will come back and join me for the continuation of the last show. Some people say they wanted me to come back and talk more about the squad. So don't know. Interesting times. Interesting times. Interesting times. And someone sent me a recording which I need to pull up concerning some interesting situation. I know sometimes people give me a hard time about thanks, Alex Reed. Hey Nigel, thanks for coming back. I know people give me a hard time sometimes about the veracity of my sources and news. And I do trust my sources. But as I said before, sometimes your source is only as good information they receive, and or sometimes situation change. Right? So we can't blame our sources sometimes when they have no control. They may be working with a certain situation. Someone give them certain information, and then they hear something else. You know, someone could tell you see that all the time. That happens, right? Someone tell you, no, I'm not going. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to this team. I'm not going to leave. So I'm not going to leave Man U, for example. Then in the background, their agents are working on something else, and they eventually leave, whatever. So Jeremiah says, would the World Cup squad be pulled from the provisional squad for the Gold Cup? I think they're all interrelated, right? It's all based on the availability of the personnel or in the 60-man squad, and then who the coach wants in his team. But I'm dying to be in the press conference because I say I was going to go back, but I'm going to go back now. I have questions. My questions are just flying from all sort of ways, actually. But I want to play something for you. Somebody just sent me this, and it's a good thing to listen to. You know, I don't want to play it yet. I want people to come in first because I know I'm going to get beaten. And I don't think I deserve the beating. I cannot go back with what I know. But I'm sending this to my source because actually I just sent it to my source because I think some things are not what they may appear to be. It's interesting. But let me say this, though, because it's very interesting. You know what? I'll qualify it when I do play. But this is supposed to be a call-in show, people. I'll put up the number, right? So when we go through the discussion, we're going to spend more time. As we go through the discussion, we do more. We have more of a call-in show. So, you know, I jumped off the stream and says, I'm coming back in 15 minutes, right? And I plan to come back in 15 minutes. And then my stomach said to me, what you talk about my youth? Yeah, disrespect me. You know, feed me since 1 o'clock today. I talk about you go up on show. And you go up on a show, I'll wax you. So I listened to my stomach, and I didn't get a chance to eat as much as I would like to eat. I don't like to eat late anyway. I like to eat past, it used to be past 7 o'clock. Now I'm retired, I say past 8 o'clock. So I had to I apologize. I did say 15 minutes. It turned into 30 minutes. So I apologize for my delay, but my stomach had a conversation with me, and my stomach, your stomach's going to win, right? So I had no choice because stomach bad me up. And as you come in, people, please hit the like button. We're going to talk more about the squad, makeup of the squad. We may even pick a team from the squad when we do so. But since we have about 41 people, let me see if I can play this because this is interesting. Actually, this is from somebody's show, so I don't want to put up the video, but I'm gonna play the verbiage and you can hear it. And let me know if you can hear it. This is interesting. It's not coming through. So I don't think it's coming through. Let me figure out why it's not coming through. Oh, of course it's not coming through. It's not connected. So let me do it again. Because this is interesting. Yeah, we're going around a circle, so people are getting frustrated.
Get into it. This is an interview in Greenwood. thanks for the comment. The journalist that asked about, about his future at the national team, and it's basically simple, and this is what Mason has to say, people.
We saw a lot of Mason Greenwood jersey in the stand. Your very interesting start to the season also contributed to that. List of kits with Greenwood jersey. How much does it mean to you? And was your relationship with the fans like this season?
I feel it's been a very good relationship.
Asterisk, I think it was a very good relationship that we have. Obviously, it's nice to see young people wearing jersey with your name on it. It's also important to play well to thank them. I think it's good to see that people were happy to have me here. To see when people who shout my name, it's really an incredible feeling. So we read it, we don't know if it's true. You'll be to tell us. But there is a desire on your part. All I don't know, it is the Jamaican selection that would like you to play for them. What is true, what is wrong? Please. Yes,
I've been speaking
it's true that we talk a little bit about the discussion, but I haven't made a final decision about on the subject.
So that was someone, another channel, I forgot the name of the person, I want to give them credit, who played a video where Mason was talking to some maybe French reporters, they were translated in English, and he's saying he hasn't made a final decision about him playing for Jamaica. Now, I did send the video to my source, and I'll probably have a discussion with them later about this because it's a little bit surprising. But I know Mason doesn't speak English, but I thought it was an AI when I first saw it, so I need to get some clarification on this. But I did send it to someone. Even though AI is good, may not be that good. So we'll see what happens. Nacardo Media House. Okay, good, Jeremiah. Thanks for that. It's their video where they're playing where he say he hasn't made up his mind up and yet. Now, you remember when we got information first, say his mom didn't sign the papers. That's the first thing we heard. And then we heard subsequent from the JFF, so things have not changed in that area. Whether that's true or not is interesting. And now I was informed that he wants to play for Jamaica. And now we're hearing him saying he has made his mind up. So who knows what to believe anymore? It's confusing. It's not clear. It's not as straightforward. The English FA came up and said that he asked to change allegiance, didn't they? If I remember correctly. And it was all over in English press. So too much drama. Jamaica just go do their thing. If he comes, he comes. As I said before, I give allowances to people with exceptional talent. So if he comes, he's welcome. If he doesn't come, he doesn't come. Life goes on. Is it him? I don't know. It looked like him in the picture. And it was very confusing. And it wasn't a clear video. You have to get something clearer. I'm going to do some more research, people, along with following with my source and see what happens. All right. I don't understand. I'm a little bit confused about some of this. And by the way, here's the calling number. If you want to call in, talk about the squad, I'll put the squad. Well, I have both the provisional squad and I have my 23. You can give me the grade on my 23, and then we can talk about, because I see what's his name want me to talk about. Where is it? Who was it again? I'm trying to find it. Yeah, Javari want me to talk about starting 11. Hey, Javari, it's not a little bit early to talk about starting. People, please hit the like button when you come in. And Javari, isn't it kind of early to talk about starting 11? No, my source and I have talked all the time. My source is a great source. Trust me. My source, I know it's a great source because whatever my source tells me, it comes to pass. As I said before, sometimes your source is not the issue. Sometimes it's the person who the source is dealing with. If the person tells the source a certain thing, and then the person go in some environment and say something different, then what are you going to do? Right? If I told you I'm not going to accept the offer, a company made me an offer, I'm not going to accept it, then I accept the offer. Source can't control that. The interview didn't seem right. I would agree with that, Pat. It seems very weird. So Is Orndane a minister? Good evening. Hello.
I'll bless and water. Wash with the rest. What go on? Thank you.
Not much. How you doing? What you gotta say, Orndane?
Yeah, man, me there, man. I travel upon the gravel and I flirt in the dirt, you know?
I hear you.
Yeah, man. You see them youth over there in England, the footballer them. You know, so me can't blame none of them, you know, if them hesitate or take long to make up their mind, you know, because you see this thing, Frankie, where the local versus the overseas. We check their finish, you know.
Oh, you mean finish? It's starting. What do you mean finish?
Me I watch some program from other day, Cranky. Me I watch some program, and every time all can come up is the local versus the English.
Yeah.
Trust me, bro. And if you are youth at England, Cranky, and hear them stuff here, you never know if you're gonna feel welcome or be welcome or anything like that. You understand? So them people, we don't know if them deliberately do them stuff upon YouTube to push it out for the people them see it, all the youngsters them see it at England and say, boy, yo, you know, say me not go to Jamaica, you know. But I like international football, but me not go cause if it a go on. So and then other people that came before go over there and tell them the experience that they have, even when they come to camp in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So if the youth them have a problem or if them be hesitant, it's because of these things, bro. And the JFF not doing anything to solve this thing. Like, you know, I mean, if the youth
sometimes the JFF is part of the problem. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example, Ordy. I'll give you an example. So I just showed you two players, right? Who are now part of the 60-man provisional squad, who wanted to play for the under-20 team that got 15-0, right? Those players weren't brought in. These players, one is at Tottenham, one is at Ajax, very good players, easy to walk into. They're going to be part of this setup now. They may not be in the team part of the setup. Where's the under-20 players we have in this setup? Apart from Reed, from Cavaliers, where's the under-20 players that we have? And these players would have walked into the under-20 team and help us qualify. And we're saying, no, we have to have our quota system, and we're not bringing any of those players, right? For whatever reason. So if you're that player, why would you even consider coming back to play for Jamaica?
That's true.
Well, you've been rejected already. You've been rejected already. For under 20, you're rejected for the junior team. So why do you even consider playing for the senior team?
Yeah. For real.
Yeah.
Because another thing, me hear people, of course, the youth where come and Hutchinson. Me say youth of course Hutchinson. People of course Hutchinson and say, boy, a man for go and them stuff there. But people for remember, you know, it seems like we Jamaicans have short memory, you know. People for remember that when Hutchinson came and playing at the friendly against Trinidad, you know. Remember, so them boo the youth, you know. The youth was a young youth, you know. Them boo the youth. And miss the other player upon the field locally where do foolishness. And they never boo them, but them boo the youth. So, you see all them stuff here, you see all them little things are cranky. People have been looking at them. Everybody have feelings. Everybody a human being. You understand?
Yeah.
Listen, Jamaican feel say them run the world with football, and we don't know nothing about football. And I think the JFF need to do something about this. Like even get somebody, somebody to talk to. I mean, these people, these youngsters in England, and say, listen to me. There is a rumor going around and stuff like that, but you are welcome. I don't think they are doing enough, Cranky, to reach out.
No, but are they you're conflating things? Some people in the JFF they were glad for them kids to go away and never come back. You see, Parish Council was in the chat earlier, but saying that if we keep what we have and do what we do. There are people in Jamaica, Skill Cool, Stuart from Harborview, the JPL president. There's a lot of people in Jamaica who believe we should only use local players, and a lot of people in the JFF who thinks that way, right? So when we're telling people in England, they're probably telling people in England, don't tell them anything. We want you all to go away. Leave us alone. Let's put our team on the field that may not be able to compete, but at least our players get exposure. That's the mindset. And they'll say, we know these players, we are affiliated with these players, we want to cheer for these players. We can't cheer for these overseas players because we don't know them. Not saying that's not true, but you haven't got to know them. You don't really care. All you care about is the local players who, frankly, have shown on the international stage that they have not been coached well enough to be able to compete.
Hey, Cranky, you know, you see this coach that Jamaica have now? He's like, no disrespect, he's like a puppet on a string. You know, I think speed pull him and he dance.
Well, I don't know if that's the case, I don't want to say that. But what I would say is that I think the coach realized after the US game that things have to change. Right? That became very obvious to me. He realized things have to change. This team is not good enough. I need to get players in. You see him talk about getting 6 players in, 46 players. I'm sure he's probably frustrated with some aspects of what's transpiring. He may have expected to get a Mason Greenwood in. That hasn't materialized. He may have expected to get some other players in. That hasn't materialized. But at a minimum, he knows quality because he's been around quality, and he knows he has to improve the team.
You see that list that the former coach leave with all these young players.
Yeah.
And all these players, I don't think that makes no sense, because what I do believe, I mean, I don't know if the present coach now received that list or what are they hiding it from him, because obviously this man doesn't know about so many players. When have you heard this man say that he is in England and he went around to different venues and watch this player or that player? Have you ever heard him say something like that?
I think the last time he came, I think he sort of inferred that actually in some respect. So he didn't do it, I don't think, in his first. So he's been here, since last August? I don't think he did it in his first 2 or 3 windows. I got a sense last time he was doing more research, White Scout or whatever he's doing and other stuff to better know the players. But I don't think he invested as much upfront as he should have to hit the ground running, which is very disappointing.
So, okay. So the thing about this, Frankie, you have a coach. You choose a coach, because I speed choose a coach, I know. Speed choosing. So yes. You have this coach, right? And you have assistant to the coach. Right? And every time you change the head coach, but you don't change the assistant coach, but the head coach always be the one that you continue changing. Right? And then
that works though. You know why that works? Because you could take a negative view and a positive view. The positive view could be you want continuity, and the assistant get to bring the coach up to speed and know the process. Then the other side could be you want inside information to make sure things are being done the way you want them done. Right?
But Cranky, yes, say that to say this, that you just said you need inside information, but you don't see the inside information what this coach getting. It's about what I want to know, Frank. They always have this issue. JFF always have this issue. I said it's so expensive to bring the English player to Jamaica to play, right?
Yes.
So tell me now, all of them local player, when we get to understand we got England to play now the 4 nation thing, it's expensive.
Yeah, but the JFF may say, so I talked about this the other day. It may be 2 answers to that. One would be that we have much more money now in the coffers. And I mentioned the other day on my show how many sponsors are on board. It's almost up to, it's probably double digit by now. Right? And we get money from tournaments that we have done. The government give us money. FIFA gave us money. We have restriction. We're in a surplus in terms of money we generated, still in negative equity, but we have much better case financially, so we can afford to send these players. The second point may be that these players doesn't need the same level of accommodation, right? Flying to England, they may not be flying business class, like a lot of players from Europe would expect to fly when they go overseas. They may fly coach, I assume. So in essence, it's not as expensive to fly them over. There's hotel accommodation, which is expensive in England. They made arrangement, and there's per diem. but they may say, and whatever they're getting from the tournament may have to compensate for some of that. So they may be able to rationalize the costs of bringing local players. I'm just speculating here. Don't know.
So okay, I heard you. So Cranky, tell me then, when certain players from England said they will pay their own fare, come, why? Because a lot of people don't understand them stuff here, you know. A lot of these people players coming on, they pay their own fare, you know.
Well, no, they some you. Well, I wouldn't say they all do. I think sometimes it may happen. Like an Antonio may fly. Is one point he got flight back home, private jet, $100,000, probably $100,000 or $50,000, whatever the number is. When he came one time, because West Ham wanted him. I know Amari Bell. Was it Amari Bell? Yeah, I think had some problems because they had out-of-pocket money, which was then reimbursed. Ravel talks about it. So we had those situations when financially they were in dire strait. You haven't heard this of late because the JFF is in a much better financial position. They have Adidas money. They have other sponsors' money. So that helped to compensate and alleviate some of the financial burden. So the financial situation has changed drastically under Chung because Chung holds people's feet to the fire. People hear me praising Chung and don't realize what Chung has done to change behavior in the JFF as it relates to financial prudence and ensuring that we are on sound financial footing and we stay that way. Now, when he leaves, which apparently seems like he's going to, all hell is going to break loose. We're going to go back to where we were before, which means they're probably going to run it into the ground, frankly. That's my view.
Well, honestly, when me look at everything surrounding Jamaica football, me honestly feel say if we just go think about netball and cricket, you know.
No, cricket. No, we shouldn't think about cricket. Cricket dead.
Yeah,
cricket dead. Track and field maybe because we need some enhancement of track and field. Last Olympics we didn't do that great, but no, cricket dead.
You know, Frankie, Coach Whitmore was a perfect example of the JFF. You know, what they really need when the man refuse to select certain overseas player or try to reject them. He's a perfect example of what the JFF is like. You know,
and you mean what they need or what they're like?
What they like, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man, because let me tell you this, Frankie. I leave Jamaica for quite a while now. And me up on the outskirt and me are looking. The only thing them people are loving at Jamaica, 75% of them, and when they can, the only thing they love from overseas, and when they can send money, it hard, you know, and some people now go take it, you know, but when they can send money and barrel, go give them. This is the only thing some people in Jamaica like, brother. Because if we hear them talk, you see, Jamaica football is not gonna reach nowhere, Cranky. Because my belief is this, Cranky. My belief is this. Why is it that them not use professional people that are playing at the highest level and bring the team to a World Cup and then they can add in the local?
Now look, I mean, there's short, medium, and long-term solution that need to be put in place for the football program. The short term, the immediacy is to make the World Cup, right? That is not in this, and you should do whatever you do to make it without any consideration of implications to anyone in terms of people's feelings about local versus overseas. Just pick the best team, make the World Cup. Subsequent to that, so now you have your resources, you make the World Cup, you have your branding, you're making money. You didn't think about what do I need to do in the medium term? What do I need to do in the long term? Long term is very obvious, but you need people with strategic thinking to allow you to get there. You can't use the same old people trying to do the same thing and going to get the same outcome, right? And even though I'm putting the long term before the medium term, you need to do that. I know what look at Spain's strategic plan, which I've sent to some people. They probably ignore it. And look at Spain. Look where Spain are now, and look at their strategic plan for the next 5 to 10 years and how they construct their program. And it gives you some inkling. You can see it online as to how you should think about football and why they will always be successful going forward. There is thought in the process. Obviously, they have much more resources, but you got to think about what resources do I have at my disposal, and how do I gain more resources and leverage those resources to improve the football holistically, which we haven't thought through. You may have medium-term plans, which is, you know what? Short-term, make the World Cup. Medium-term, we're going to do X, Y, Z. And long-term is where we're going. Because long-term is going to mean I have a sustainable program whereby the totality of the people who are eligible to play for my country, by the way they reside, are part of the process. And I can pull from that. But locally, I will get the players up to speed so they're good enough to compete on a global basis. And they can be part of that pool where we can dispel off the whole notion of local versus diaspora. Because you know what? My local players can compete. We don't have that conversation in track and field. Because even if we had people in the UK, but most of them sort of stay home, they wouldn't be good enough to compete for Jamaica. A lot of them. They just wouldn't.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't have that conversation. We see some distant runners now come in. We see the 200-meter runner from the US who was born in the US come in, right? And they're good enough. We don't have the conversation because it's based on time, it's based on outcome. And if you can't go run in the World Championship or the Olympics and win, people are going to say you shouldn't go because your time suggests that you can't make it. So we wouldn't have that same situation. Football is a much more subjective game about who's good enough, who's not good enough. And there's a lot of passion involved. Athletics is more individual, even though it affects the country. So they're different. The analogy may not be one for one, but at the same time, there's no disputing about your ability given the times that you run. Football, JPL think they're as good as League One, for example. I was told, I won't say who say it, that people believe it's like National League in England. They believe National League team can beat JPL team. And National League is like, think about all the leagues, Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two, National, right? Like fifth levels down. That's how they believe about JPL. Even though some JPL player will matriculate to Championship, like you see, or League One, like you see with Dixon, for example. So that's the situation.
Yeah, you know, before I go cranky, I work around a lot of different kind of people, Mexican and Hondurans and Panamanian and stuff like that. You know, so when they talk about football to them with Jamaica, they laugh.
Why?
You know, so they don't recognize Jamaica as a football country, right? And I was watching even this podcast with this poor guy. I think three of them were Mexican and another one an American. They were talking about Jamaica, Canada, and when they touch Jamaica, it's like a mocking thing, like a jeering them. You know, a laugh and you know.
Yeah, but the only team of that bunch that should give Jamaica a hard time should be Mexico, because you know Panama used to beat us a lot. We beat them the last time we played them. And El Salvador and Honduras don't really beat us. Or Nicaragua, or most of Latin American countries don't beat us. It's rare when they beat us, so they shouldn't laugh at us. They probably should laugh at themselves.
Well, to what going on? What going on? And then they are talking about, you know, so they have so many information about the JFF. They have so many information about the JFF and the players. But you know, my thing is the before I leave, I just want the man if I just clean up me. I can just pick the best player them man. The man them are gonna make me dead before me see the country qualify for my next World Cup.
No, we are qualified this time around.
Yeah, man, just pick the best. Just pick the best, man. And we need to see continuity in this squad we are gonna pick, bro. Because if I go pick just player, we are 30 at the year old. To make we qualify, you have to blend it with the young player. So therefore, even after I look a bit before the World Cup, we can see the transformation from them, these young players into the national team setup, bro. Some of us are asking man them at JFF, please, man, just stop think about themselves and think about the country.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
Yeah, man. Respect here, Cranky.
Yeah, man. Bless. Thanks for the call, Dean. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Blessing, man.
So, Dean Fraser, why you say I'm lying? Wait, you think I'm lying because I said Jamaica gonna make the World Cup? I think Jamaica made it. Let me just say this. If Jamaica beat BVI and beat Guatemala, when we go to the final round, we won't have Panama or Costa Rica in our zone. If we can't beat Honduras or any other team, or Trinidad, or even Haiti, then we don't deserve to go to the World Cup. We don't deserve to the World Cup. So at the end of the day, I expect when this team play on June 6th and what was it, June 10th? And the game before BVI, we should win those games. My only concern is that we struggled with St. Vincent, which wasn't good. But these new additions, like a Baker, and even Mothersill and Tyrese Campbell, should add value to the team. They would not all be starters. But here's my thing, though. Here's what's important. People. Come on, people, man. 143, 70 likes. People at 2 show me this even back alert me, 913 people. No, do better, man. No, do better. Incentivize me, people. Incentivize me. Don't do me so. Give me some likes, people. I appreciate it. Give me some likes. Bring me up to the 146, whatever the number is that I am now. Good night. You're calling the Cranky Live Show. We're talking provisional squad. What do you have to say? Who am I talking to?
This is Chemo. Thank you.
Chemo, how you doing, Chemo?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Today, I almost have a headache.
Oh, you had a headache? Well, you saw the squad and the provisional squad and you didn't see certain names and
yeah, because I'm confused. I really I try to understand what really I do or what the plan and you understand. Because remember we've been around the block for quite some time and we see the proceedings.
Yes, definitely.
And so you try to figure out.
Before you go further, you're in a Storm area? Yeah. You're in a Storm area?
No, I'm not in the Storm area.
Okay.
No, I'm not in the Storm area.
Okay.
So, so when I saw the squad earlier this morning, it confused. I was trying to pick out, all right, these players are going to the Unity Cup. And then I look back again and so we have players like Dante Casanova, Brandon Cover. I know that players will always be missing. We won't see all of the players that we want to see, but the ones that are playing that you think warrant a call. And most of the times we don't pick players that are on form in the national team. We use sympathy to pick the national team. And the sympathy to say that to put in a few of the JPL players. Now we have players like Richard King, the player name from Arnegans, Warner Brown, who show their potential over previous window, and so we can say, okay, then he warrant a call, and maybe the coach want to see more of him. And Richard King has been around the national team from the previous World Cup qualifier campaign. So now, when we see some of these players, now you understand, and we have players also in England that could maybe take some financial strain off of us. When you see a bulk, you see basically more JPL players in the team. So it is a case where they're trying to get contract for these players, or they're trying to, they're trying to select and see some new players. I'm really confused. What do you say about that?
Well, I hope that the players who are going to the Unity Cup, right? And some of these players like Johnson and Tyrese Hall will get a chance to play and show the coach. It's a very short window. I don't like to judge players based on a couple of games or one game. I don't think that's enough evidence and enough You know what happened? Sorry, people. You can hear me now. What happens is when my system goes out because I pressed the wrong button. Let me repeat what I just said. It goes mute on my screen and I don't realize it because I'm talking and you're hearing me, caller, but I apologize. No, what I was saying before, I apologize, people. What I was saying before about what the caller is saying is that a lot of what he's saying makes a lot of sense. And that it's important to realize that a number of players in the national team currently have been tried and tested. And therefore, you guys still can't hear me? That can't be the case. You can hear me now, can't you? Somebody saying, I see Jeremiah saying no sound. You guys still can't hear me?
Yeah, I still
no, you're hearing me, caller, but there's, I think, text me if you can hear me. You guys can hear me?
Yes, someone in the comment section just replied.
Okay, I apologize for that, people. I keep playing with the apparatus here and it comes out. There's a short in there someplace. But anyway, when you have a bunch of a team, so here's my assessment of the team. I think it's where the coach, and I've said this numerous times, the coach has been affected. When we played the US, it was night and day. Like it was really bad. If you're in the stadium, like sometimes you're at home and it's bad and you can see it, but we're in the stadium, you're watching the game and you look around, you see the crowd around you, it got uncomfortable how bad it was, right? We came back, scored 2 goals, it didn't really matter. But the coach, I think, walked away feeling very disappointed, but also he walked away saying, I need help. That's why you hear him talking about 6 players, 5, 6 players to bring in. He's not talking about 5, 6 JPL players. He's talking about 5, 6 players who are from the diaspora, mainly in England, who he thinks can supplement the team and improve the team. Now, he didn't get 5, 6 in this window, right? He got a Mothersill, he got a Baker, he got a Tyrese Cameron. There is no Max Aarons, there is no Jonathan Rowe, there is no John Sterling, there is no elephant in the room, which is Mason Greenwood. Right? He didn't get that, but he got some players to help the team. But I think where he needed help, frankly, is in almost every area apart from goalkeeper. Now he didn't have, I think he didn't have Antonio, right? And did we have Bobby Reed or did we have Pinnock? One of them was missing. May have been Pinnock actually, if I remember. But he didn't have certain players. Coupled with he wanted some additional players. Now he had Ravel there who could have probably helped him, but the Ravel team doesn't work for him for some reason. Doesn't work for him.
Rumor has it that the player is not fit, and if the coaching staff wasn't impressed with Ravel.
But how? So I don't even know what that means. Actually, what are you gonna get impressed with Ravel? What, in training? I don't even know. I don't know Ravel train well. They're gonna look at Ravel in training, kicking a ball. That's what I'm talking about. Sample size, right? So yeah. Wayne Suarez says Michael Woodburn, Lewis Baker will not make any difference. Jamaica midfield needs a creative player. Lewis Baker will score, but not creative. Well, goals with matches. That's what we need. He can kick it, right?
Another thing they say about Ravel is that they can't get any stats on him.
Yeah. They can't get any stats on him. Because he plays in the 2nd division of that league. He's not playing at a high level. Right? But he's better than all the midfielders. Period.
Yeah.
Even he's playing Connor League, he's better than and he's playing Connor League is better than them. He is.
And you know the thing, Cranky? People have time for some players and not time for some players. I don't understand.
So here's what's funny. Here's what's funny, people. So if you say Ravel is not good enough, he's not playing at a high level, blah, blah, blah. We have seen Tyreek McGee. We have seen Palmer. Right? We have seen Lati in the midfield. No, I rate Lati, but he's not in the midfield. We have seen all those players. We have seen Ravel. And that's why people call him Ravel, because we know what he can do. And we know what this players can do. There is no comparison. There's none. We have seen McCullough. There's no comparison. He's better than all of them. So even when he's drunk and drinking beer with a big belly, he's probably better. Maybe he can't run. He's still better than them. Maybe he can run more than he can, but he's still better than them. No, it's a fact. And not to disregard them and denigrate them. He's just a better footballer. And the question would be, is he because he's a maverick? He's not in the team? Sometimes you have players who players want people on the team, like when Walter Boyd is to play for Jamaica and couldn't get along with Simones, but the coach is not having them. He doesn't think they're going to add value. I'm sure if the coach thinks Ravel is going to be a difference maker, he'd bring him in the team.
Well,
That's the problem.
I would like to hear the real reason behind Tariq Maggie after the couple of months he's been in the team and not showing a good performance to be selected again. And he's been relegated to now the tier 2 and he's still in and around the team. I'm confused.
Yeah, look, I mean, we have to understand there's politics in sports. So I'm not saying McGee is politics, but the point I'm trying to make is that McGee has a reputation in Jamaica from his schoolboy days. It didn't work out for him overseas, but he's still revered by some in Jamaica, regardless of who he's playing for, right? And that's always in consideration when teams are being picked, even though his performance may not suggest that he should be.
When I look at this team also, I still believe, and you still believe, that we will qualify for the 2026 World Cup. Can you imagine the chaos that would be around the team when that World Cup squad will be selected?
What chaos? There won't be no chaos.
I mean, the politics with these selections.
There ain't gonna be no politics. Here's how this works to me, people. So the coach is gonna pick the team, and we say if we make World Cup, people, just like the last World Cup, some players are gonna want to come in who are better players, and they're gonna be this uproar about whether or not they should join. And some players who help us along the journey will be left behind. Because when you get there, you want to perform. You don't want to be just there to attend. You want to perform. Right? So, and it's unfair to those players. I'm going to give you an example. Freddie Butler, Paul Young, last World Cup process. They were up there for a long way in the process, and all of a sudden they got dropped because better players came in. Or perceived better players. That's how the process normally works. So some players that you see on the periphery who are very good players, who you want to come in, but they're on the fence. When you get to the World Cup, they're going to jump over the fence. They're going to be like, you know what? I'm 25 now. I was 24 last year. World Cup is here. World Cup is every 4 years. I don't guarantee to be an England team. I want to take my risk with Jamaica.
Yeah, we need the best players. We need to go a step further. The last time we didn't make it out of the group stage. This time we have to go to the knockout stage. We have to have a goal. It's not just going to
the women have done it, right? The women have done it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams. It's about 48 teams, so it's a lot of teams. It's possible. And look, if we were to get all the players of Jamaican descent or in the Premier League who have not played for England, it'd be a very good team. Very, very good team. Right? I mean, Pinnock's here's my concern. Lowe's going to be a year older. Pinnock a year older. Antonio a year older. I wouldn't say Blake, goalkeeper keep there 40, but these are key players in the team and are part of that composition of that team. You got to make sure you have a balanced team. And also you're going to have injuries.
Yeah, that play a vital role. So when we're recruiting, we have to have that in mind. Some people say, when are we going to stop the recruiting? Injuries play an important role, so you have to keep on going.
You know what? I want to address that. So I have heard Maverick talk about that, and I've heard other people talk about that. I have no idea what that means. What do you mean stop the recruiting? So let me ask you some questions, people. Because that made no sense to me. Do companies stop recruiting new people? Do companies ever stop, or people keep moving? People leave, they join, they leave, right? If you have better talent out there than what you have, you just don't recruit them. You say, no, we have enough people in here. We didn't bring nobody in. Which country do you see stop recruiting? Which country? You know what? We have a cutoff point. By June 1st, we're not recruiting anyone because we want to have the same team that go ahead to the World Cup. Players lose form. Players get older. Players get injury. Some players improve significantly in a short duration. Some take longer to mature and improve. That's nonsense. There's no ending of recruiting. Your ending of recruiting is when they have the cutoff period to submit your squad. That's when you're recruiting in. There ain't no such thing. It's nonsense.
The concern is for them is that they don't want history repeat itself with what happened in the Panama versus Reggae Boyz game.
In terms of?
But we all know that was based off ego.
No, but what do you mean?
All of the top players.
No, the Panama versus Jamaica game in Jamaica, that was madness. That was unprofessional. What Tapa said was unprofessional. That was like chaos. Even if Tapa was unhappy, well, maybe Tapa didn't have much of a choice, right? In terms of, and that's when we talk about interference of those who say they don't interfere. Right? The interference of those who say they don't interfere. So if I'm a coach, I pick my team. You don't tell me to pick my team. Otherwise, I'm not going to be your coach. And if you're going to say, well, I didn't put I allowed them to pick their team and they do what they want to do and I said, we can watch. That's like a, I don't even know how to describe that. That's like a kid don't get their way and they have to act up. You're the person in charge. You're the leader. You have to run things the way you run things. Anybody don't like it? Tough. If you want to pick all local players, it's still your team. That's how you get judged on your performance. The consequences are yours. If I'm going to be judged based on performance, I got to pick my players. I bet they can suggest who should be in McClaren's squad, but they can't tell McClaren who to put in the squad. And McClaren may have people in the squad because McClaren has not done his homework to know all the players to then pick who he needs to pick. So you have to leverage other people to make those decisions. And people are asking me if I'm going to ask McClaren a certain question. I'm not sure I'm going to be in McClaren's press conference. I told people before, not you people, I told you before, I don't like to be insulted. And then maybe I'm cranky or too sensitive. Yeah, maybe that's the case. I like to be insulted. I think he insulted me the last time I asked him a question. When I asked him about the 2-3 comparison, and he said dismiss me as if I'm insignificant. I don't take crap from nobody, period. I don't care who you are. I don't take your crap. So if you're going to dismiss me, I don't think I should engage you. You're not that important to me for me to engage you. Now, it may sound egotistical, but that's how I live my life and how I think. You're not that important for me to ask you a question and you dismiss my question. I'm not having it. Sorry, not having it. You want to say I have an attitude? You want to say I have an ego? You can say what you want to say about me, but I don't dismiss people. I'm going to disrespect you. If you ask me a question, I try to answer it. When you dismiss my question, if I don't count, I see reporters being treated a certain way by professional athletes. I couldn't work for those media outlets. I would just be like, are you out of your mind? I'm going to cuss you. If you cuss me out in public and embarrass me, I'm going to tell you the same thing. Now, you won't get access to those athletes, so I couldn't work there. So I'm glad I wasn't in that profession. I'm not having it. I believe we treat everybody a certain way in life. If you say you have a press conference, you want to ask me to ask a question, you don't have any restrictions on the questions you're going to ask, and they ask the question, answer the question. Otherwise, I don't want to be around you, and you shouldn't be around me. And you don't need me, and I definitely don't need you. So, hey, we move on.
Okay, but I like the 23 that you put on the screen here. Really think that would be a competitive one for the Gold Cup and the World Cup qualifiers. But I'm just gonna move now, Cranky. You can have someone else wanna come on and share their thoughts.
Yeah, man. I appreciate the call. Yeah, man. Eric, thanks. Yes, people. So those people are actually going to ask questions. I can't promise you that because I'm not sure I'm going to be there. Because I can tell you, if I go ask another question and he dismisses me, like I thought he did the last time, I don't know. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to go through that. I don't want to be in that environment. You should not put yourself in a situation which you can predict the outcome and then you're going to be in your feelings. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. And I don't want to do that. So someone texted me something about, on what I put in, and they're probably right on this, right? They said that Montego Bay United, who were in the semifinal and lost to Mount Pleasant, but not by a lot, frankly. It was a very close 2-game series and played well. If you look at the 60-man provisional squad, they don't have a lot of players in that squad, to be honest. Now, one can say Mount Pleasant dominated throughout the year, so we'd expect them and Cavaliers to have more. They're in the semifinal, they're in the finals. But it's a good question as to why Mobile United don't. Do you guys think any other Mobile United player should have been in the 60-man squad? Conrad said I should ask him about question Rabbit on Thursday. Actually, you know what? Lucky for me, is the conference this Thursday? Is it this Thursday? I forgot. If it is, I'm not going to be available to ask any question. I should be on a plane. I can't believe I've been saying this because I promised I had to fly anywhere. I'm supposed to be on a plane on Thursday going someplace. So I may not be able to ask any question. Depends on when the conference is. If I'm at the airport and the conference is on, I may just call in. But I'm supposed to be on a plane, so I may not be able to ask the question, which is good. I can spare myself and getting the flack from you guys about not asking questions. But yeah, I don't want to be in an environment where the coach and I are both uncomfortable with each other being in the environment. I don't want to do that. Dimitri Mitchell missing. Wait a second. Dimitri Mitchell missing from that 23. Yeah, I mean, I don't know Mitchell that well. And if I look at the team, I had Mitchell here initially when I put it up. I had both Mitchell and Johnson from Ajax. Somebody who I know really well tell me they believe Johnson will be in the team. He's 18. I don't know. He may, if he's playing a Unity Cup, he got to play really well to impress the coach, given who we have here. I mean, think about it. I mean, the one player in the midfield I would probably remove, I know some people like Chris Smith disagree with me, is Casey Palmer. I don't think Casey has proven enough to have a role. Nitro Smith Rowe is not eligible. ESR is not eligible, Nitro. So we can stop thinking about ESR. No, he don't get nervous with me. He doesn't get nervous with me, Conrad. No, he probably think I'm whatever, but I don't think it's nerve. Gaming said, "Cranky me out here. Never interested in the Nation League train. That's why I'm not player, and that's why the coach." No, I heard the opposite. Gaming. I think I heard the opposite actually. But sometimes you don't know who to believe. I heard the opposite. Sorry, I said I don't want to see Casey Palmer. People, you can call in. We're gonna do about 8 more minutes. You can call in people. I don't see Casey Palmer. Yeah, Palmer has not impressed. Look, I've met Casey. He's a really nice guy, but I don't think he has performed as well. So I can't support him. Haiti have 4 more pleasant players. Yeah. Isn't that the ones got reported by some of the organization? Why Casey keep getting called? I don't know. Well, we don't know if he's going to get called yet. People, the 60-man squad is not the 23-man squad now. So we can't say people going to get called when we don't know yet. Come on, people, man. 180 people and 98 likes. People, that's not good. Come on. If you haven't hit the like button, just press the thing. I want to ask a question, people. If you're in a show and the host, and you're in the show, you're watching the show for a while, and the host actually hit the like button, you don't have to hit it. Don't have to hit it for the rest of the evening. Seriously, I'm serious about that. Can you please text why you don't hit the like button? You don't have to hit the like button. Please text why you don't hit it. I'm not asking anybody to hit it for the rest of the evening because I'm soon close out. It's your prerogative. But please tell me why you don't hit it. Because if you're here for the whole show and you haven't hit it, I'm curious why you don't hit it. I would love to know the rationale why you don't hit it. Even those of you who have hit it, tell me why you wouldn't hit the like button if you're in a show for almost the entire show. Have a good part of the show. Please tell me. I'm curious. Apart from the ones who are true haters, because I know some people are haters, and some may even be YouTubers and they won't hit the like button. I understand that. But if you're not a true hater, like say a football guru, or you're a YouTuber, like I won't call it a name, and you don't want to hit the like button, I understand that, even though you come here. For those of you, tell me why you don't hit the like button. Javari, we can't know 11. No, Javari, man. Too early, Javari, man. Come on, man. We can't do 11. Javari, call and tell me you're 11, Javari. Come. You call and tell me, nah, I'm doing 11 this early, Javari. Come on, man. If you want to do your 11, Javari, call me and tell me you're 11. Right now, you don't want to hear my 11. Trust me. If I was to pick 11 just based on who I think should play and not politics, it'd be a very shocking 11. But I have to pick 11 based on what I think politics is going to be, or how I think the coach thinks and what he's going to do. But I think the coach also realized he needs to create some disruption because what he has didn't work. Come on, Nitro Man. If I had 98 people, it's like some people come in and forget to hit the like button. I know that. But some people come in and say, I'm not hitting it. I don't care what he says. And I'm like, well, I don't know why you want somebody to come here and run their mouths and then you just want to listen and not say a word and not even give them a like. It's not costing you anything. I just don't understand. I think the Unity Cup squad is supposed to be this week, right? I gotta follow up with. You know what? I'm gonna follow up. Let me just text somebody and find out right now. I thought I knew when. So let me see if I can get that. Let me see if I can find out when is the Unity squad announcement. Let me see if I can get someone to send it to me. They may not be available, but I'm gonna text it to a source and see what happened. We need Ravel and a good. We just need Ravel. Period. Ravel about. Hey, look, it's amazing how many. Look, when Jamaican. First of all, Jamaicans know ballers. That's one thing. Even if we don't play football really that well, we know ballers, right? And it's almost overwhelming the amount of people who follow football closely who want Ravel in the team. I don't think I've ever seen this as much, except maybe Walter Boyd way back when. And even then, I wasn't following that much. But what I've heard, I don't think there's any other player that I've seen over the years who may be on the outskirts of the team and even have a bad boy image, and so many people want him in the team. Right? I don't think you guys can tell me, has there been any other player who hasn't been the team? I'm not talking about a player who maybe have boycotted the team or they have problems with the federation. Ravel may have some problem with them sometime. But who we know who has played for the team over a good period of time, not in the team, and so many people are calling for them. So what is Hopeton saying? Good evening. Again, what the latest message? I hear you're really going back to Manchester United so that you're going to play for England again. That ain't happening. Mason Green would not play for Manchester United again. Now would he play for England again? I don't think people understand the level of uproar, especially in the female community, about Mason. Bless up, Jason. Yes, Jason, that's my squad with some asterisk there. You see me have 3 asterisk, Jason, so that's my 23. Well, it's 24, Jason, depending on Antonio's availability. Even though Bobby Reed is in the... I was told Bobby Reed and Bernard. Bernard's not in the 60. But Bobby Reed won't be ready for the World Cup qualifiers or for Gold Cup. But they put him in the 60 for whatever reason. They probably hope he gets better. So I don't know. Now, Mason Greenwood ain't playing for England or Man U again. It's not even a consideration. Look, Man U tested the water. Man U was going to take back Mason Greenwood. Man U was all ready to announce it. Man U did this investigation and said they found nothing. It was all XYZ. And the women supporters, women team, women in England says, we're not fans anymore if you play him. We're not fans if you take him back. And some other men too, and they back down. Between the media, the female population, and some men, ain't no way in what he playing for Man U again. And he ain't playing for England either, because they be chastised and castigated, and they don't want the flack. As they would say, they don't want the smoke. They get a lot of smoke, a lot of fire, frankly. Neither Greenwood, Roy's not in the squad. Damian Hines, not as Greenwood. No, neither of them in the squad. Even though they play for the same team. Someone said they think Rowe is in England on 21 Euro final squad to be announced on Friday. Yeah, anything is possible. We'll see who's in the squad. It's interesting. England can't put them all in the squad, Some guy's gonna be left out. Martin Baker says, guys, Greenwood play for Jamaica. Just be patient and stop follow people with fake news for likes and views. Yeah. I believe he will play for Jamaica also. But we'll see. We'll see. If he ain't playing for Jamaica, he ain't playing no international football. If he's not playing for Jamaica, he's not playing international football. He's not qualified in another country that I know of. And whoever wants to wait out England, they're going to wait forever. Ain't happening. But let's see what happens. because it's interesting. All right, people, let me see what else is here. If you want to call in, people, the numbers on the screen. If you want to call in and have your say on the my 23, and you can tell me you're 23. I know Javari wanted to pick an 11. I think he should just pick his 11. I'm not going to pick an 11. You can call in. And it's a WhatsApp number, people, so you don't have to worry about if you're in Jamaica pricing. You can just a WhatsApp number. You can call the number. Let me see if there are any other comments here. Hutchinson? No, we don't know anything about Hutchinson. Hutchinson is an interesting case. It's a complex case. I think Hutchinson's going to be one of those people who 5 years from now would have said, I should have played. But then I don't think people understand. Suppose you hate flying like I do, right? You got to fly from England to fly here and then jump on some not best plane to fly from Jamaica to like Latin America. You're like, why am I doing that? I can stay home, relax, play for my club team. International break, I go on vacation, enjoy myself. I don't need international football. Some people don't need. If you're like a Ben White, who's not making himself available, who couldn't get along with his coach, you may just say, I don't want to deal with this. So yeah. Nitro said Hutchinson in Europe. Yeah. England gonna cap all those players. Hutchinson played well for Ipswich this year, so those players are probably been given the argument that they're in the under 21 squad and they're in next line for England. So yeah. AJ, I thought about that. I was told that will happen. No, not for Case Palmer, but I was told that Johnson's a good chance of being in the squad, but I decided not to put Johnson. I had Johnson there and I took him out and leave Tyrese Hall instead of Johnson. Yeah, no, he's a good player. I haven't really watched him play, but I've got a lot of good feedback on him actually from people who watch him play. Some people are telling me he has to be there. He will be there. So we'll see. Yeah, Jay. I also had Dimitri, but I could only. You can have a maximum of 26 players, and I had Dimitri and Johnson in the 26, but then I took them out because I had to go down to 23. In fact, I have 24. I had 24 plus 2, and I took those 2 out. I had Dimitri there, and I had Johnson there. I think Johnson and Hall are going to play in the Unity Cup. I don't know about Dimitri, actually. I would assume he's going to play too because so the coach want to see those players to make a final decision. Bless up, Float. Yes, Float is my new live. It's, well, I wouldn't call it new. I'm an hour in. Start at 9 o'clock. Now, Tyrese Campbell, which Tyrese? The one, he's spelling it right? I don't know Tyrese from Sheffield. If it's Tyrese from Sheffield, my understanding is I don't want to say this. Let's just say he's not here. Let's just put that. Hey, Jay, totally agree, Jay. You know something, Jay? If we won those players, maybe it's good and bad, actually, that they didn't come for the under 20. So both Johnson and Hall were in the under 20 list provided to John Wall, and that should have played against in the CONCACAF under 20 tournament in where did it play in Latin America, right? They were both in that list of players with their papers that should have been there. Obviously, we had a quota system which didn't allow them to be in the team. We had a lot of local players who weren't there instead. So I'm surprised when some of these players actually decide to play. Actually, but yeah, 2 very good players and 2 players who we should cap. Yeah, he also captained the Ajax under 21 too, I think, actually. He captained the under 18. I'm not sure if he captained the 21 yet. But no, he's a well thought of player, and we should definitely play him. So Dre saying Tyrese. Okay, so right, the Tyrese is spelled with Tyreece. Tyrese is the Sheffield player. So I watched Tyrese play both live and in Memorex because I decided to spend some time because I was given information by a source that he should be somebody in the squad. and that is somebody going to be recommended to the coach, which he was. He's a good player. I will admit, the first 2 games I saw him, he was really good. Watch him this weekend play against Wickham. He didn't play as well to me. In fact, he looked tired, like everybody else who played in England. Because I watched Declan Rice played against Newcastle on Sunday, and he got man of the match. And I sit there thinking, you English people are biased. Declan Rice was awful apart from the goal he scored. Declan couldn't run for the most of the game. Declan was tired. Even the commentator said it, but the 68 minutes, they looked tired. He was tired. And he didn't play a lot of football because he was injured. But I would say this, Tyrese, the first 2 games I saw him, he looked quick. He was playing well. He's going by people. He made the right decision. The last game, he just wasn't in the game as much. I was a little bit surprised. Nitro is saying the Jane Brown would be a good one as well, but injured. I don't know him as well as much, actually. But when I'm giving names, I actually go watch these players play sometime. I'll go to the Charlton site and watch some replays. And at least for I did for Tyrese. It's interesting. Totally agree with you, Jay. And I think that's something I've talked about quite a bit, actually, that I think the JFF is blindsided on and have not really been thoughtful on. So if you're the JFF, even if you have your quota system, right, and you want to get in many local players or all local players in the national team, you still want to make sure you have a pool of players with the ability to enable you to do well in any tournament. And what I think you would have done is identify players who are playing in the junior team of some of these national teams or show potential to be very good players. And then what you do is bring them in, play them, cap them, and hope they want to stay with you, right? I mean, some may not want to be capped like Hutchinson. They want to be on the fence. We don't think that way. We are trying to give exposure to our under 20 players and under 17 players, or we complain about cost. We don't think about solutions to the cost issue. We use it as a crutch not to make the right decision. And then when we struggle, and I've said this numerous times, we go hide. And you mentioned that 2 days ago when I did a show, or what was it? Last week when I did a show, that when we have bad results, the JFF hides. And when we have good results, they run to market what they've achieved. And I've said this numerous times, go look back in history, most companies, if something goes bad, the one that have recovered really well from bad situations, they say, we own it, we messed up, forgive us, fall on their sword, and they move forward. The ones who play this game of only come out when things are good and hide when things are bad, people have no respect for you, they can't trust you, and they want to engage with you. So, yeah. Nitro, all these players you hear about, including the one you just mentioned, Nitro, that's the whole thing. You hear me ask the question to the coach today? Deliberate question, by the way, about naturalization process. And he gave me an interesting answer, a very good answer, but an interesting one, because he's very good at what he does. I rate Busby, by the way, people. I like to ask Busby a certain question to see how you gonna come up with, and he doesn't surprise me. I asked Busby a question today about the naturalization process, and his answer was just so good. He comes across like an executive or a media person, because you can read between the lines what he's saying, but you can't discern directly what he's saying, which is brilliant. I love that, by the way, because if you're reading between the lines, you get his message. If you're not, you won't get it. It's not that straightforward. No, yes answer. It's an answer which says, yeah, we got a problem, but we have to work together to solve the problem, for example. And I'm saying, do you have a problem? And here's my view on this, actually. And I'm going to say this out loud. I probably should say it behind closed. I'm going to say it out loud. Those of us in YouTube who are not restricted or constricted by the environment we work in, because we are self-employed, and even though some of us are irresponsible about what we say, we are self-employed, and we're not restricted by the corporate construct in terms of profitability and sponsors and all these things that informs a restricted workspace. We have the latitude to do what we want to do. We have to think about how we can effectuate change that's material in certain areas. I'm gonna give you an example. We have to, in this forum, cry out that the naturalization process for diaspora personnel, especially in the football arena, it ain't working as it should. I don't care what anybody tells me, it's not working. And there's frustration across the board. I'm sure they probably is in the JFF too, that we can't bring players on board timely because it's not a seamless, effective process. Now, all the parties, the government, PICA, the JFF, both women's and men's team, the players, they have to construct, not the players, take the players out of the equation. They have to construct a construct where you create a process to make it very seamless and even not visible to the players about how they can get naturalized if they qualify. Have them going around in goddamn circles doesn't work. And it's very annoying. And the players get frustrated. The process is frustrating. Now, you see me outline the process tonight, and you see me try to walk through what the process entails. And sometimes it's on the players' fault, but we need them sometimes more than they need us. So, yeah, good night. Good night.
Yeah, man. How are you doing?
Good. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, man. The same person, Xavier in another thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the same person. I was trying to tell you that you should watch the sports program on TVJ that came tonight. They interviewed briefly the coach, and he said some things that.
Oh, McClaren?
Yes.
Okay.
And what he's saying, to me, it seems like he's learning about the culture here now, because he spoke about the difference between the local players and the players from the heritage players. Are you there?
I'm listening.
Yeah. So I want you to watch that program. I think you could extract some things from it when you come back with your next program.
Okay. Now I appreciate the advice, and I'll try to do that. I would just say one thing about that actually, and I've been beating the coach from day one about this. If he had invested time and effort in learning from day one, even before he came here, the first time he got first of all, before he got the job, he should have invested time so he can do well in the interview. But I guess the interview wasn't thorough and in depth, so he got away with it because he was known. The second thing he should have done was invest time in himself to learn the players, learn the environment, learn the culture, to understand what he's dealing with. So therefore, he will be prepared to not have any surprises and to pick the right players and to make sure you understand what he has. But he didn't do so. He can get upset all he wants. He didn't do it. It was very obvious. You go look at the coach for the women's team, Busby. Busby's always in Jamaica. But most of Busby's team doesn't live in Jamaica or play in Jamaica. If you look at the women's team, you'll be shocked how many of them are located locally. But Busby's always in Jamaica. And Busby already know the culture.
Yeah.
Coach ain't investing the time they require. The coach is a short-term coach. He ain't investing the time.
But I think he's learning now, though, because if you look at, you're going to see from what he's saying, if he's honest in what he's saying.
Yeah, but Carla, he's almost a year in the job. Come August is a year in the job. Right? You can't wait until the job is that far along for you to invest time. Anything you do in life, you maximize your efforts, both physically and intellectually, to enable you to be successful. If you don't, you're going to end up like he is after the fact saying, oh, I'm just learning this. Oh, wow. No, that's not how it's supposed to work. And look, I'm glad he's learned the culture. He should have well learned the culture already. Sorry. Look at Hogrimson. Hogrimson was in Jamaica until he probably got frustrated. Or, as he said, Ireland is closer to his culture. And none of he's talking about in Jamaica. But at least, Hogrimson spent time in Jamaica.
Yeah, because I was surprised to see the interview and to know that he was at one of the semi-finals.
Yeah, he went to the semi-final. I was told that by people who were there. He was at the semi-final. Somebody said he's not in Jamaica. I'm like, no, nonsense. He's in the semi-final. I was told this actually. Yeah. So I appreciate the suggestion. I will definitely see if I can find the tape of his interview, and maybe whenever another show I can talk about it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks. What else here? CC, you're around. What is considered local player? Is that a rhetorical question, CC? And CC, is that a rhetorical question? Here's what I realized. And CC, this may apply to you. And maybe those overseas don't have an appreciation for this. A lot of people who live in Jamaica, they may not have all the same mindset, but they have similar mindset. So I throw a word, CC. Let me say this again. A lot of people in Jamaica may not have the same mindset, but they have very similar mindset. Especially when it comes to local players versus overseas players. They do. And even some who may come across as if they don't, they do. They're trying hard not to, they do. So speak of the devil. Hey, devil, good night.
Advocate, put the advocate. Devil's advocate.
Huh?
Callin. I say you have to add on the advocate. Devil's advocate.
All right, advocate. What I say? What I say?
What question though, Cranky? Because there's seven new names in the list of professional players, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, how do you feel about those seven?
Seven new players?
Mm-hmm.
Was it 7?
I think it's 7 that I see. I see the guy from Ajax, U18.
Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, I see Tyrese Hall, I see Tyrese Campbell.
Yes, that's 3.
I see Dimitri Mitchell.
4.
Louis Baker.
5.
Who else did I see? I know I saw 2 more names.
You did? I don't remember seeing 2 more names.
Yeah, man, Cranky.
Madasil is there, so that's 6. Madasil is there.
Madasil, that's 6.
Yeah.
Madasil is 6. But there's another name.
The coach was right. He has 6 new players, but he ain't gonna bring in all 6 new players. But go ahead.
What's the 6 new?
He had mentioned about 6 new players actually, but I think 2 of these were not in the list that he probably thought about for the 6.
Where's that 2 of them now?
I don't think 2 of them were in the 6. He was probably thinking about Greenwood as one of his 6. Greenwood's not here. And Jonathan Rowe may have been in the 6. Jonathan Rowe is not here. So that would have been 8.
Rumorn. I saw him name Rumorn. I don't know if I pronounce his name correctly.
Somebody saying Rusharm. Borrell. Oh, yes.
Rumorn Cameron Scott Borrell.
Yeah.
Burton Albion.
Yes. You know what?
So that's what I'm saying.
I thought I'd skip his name for some reason because I don't know him that well.
But I think he's on the same amount of goals like Madasil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think them scoring at the same rate.
Madasil have a lot of assists though. Madasil have almost as much assists as goals, doesn't he?
In the league itself, so
no, Madasil have a lot of assists. I think he has like 12 and 9, right?
But I'm looking to it though, Cranky. I think like Rumorn, Madasil, when I look at it, even though the guy from Ajax might be a good player, I haven't watched him, but when I look at it, Rumorn and Madasil, even the fact that they're playing senior football, and I don't see, unless they can direct me to it, but I don't see where that guy is actually playing in the Eredivisie.
No,
right
isn't he captain for Ajax and Holland under 20 or under 18, one of them?
Yeah. So
by the way, he and Tyrese Hall, and I have Tyrese Hall in my list, by the way. He and Tyrese Hall, Tyrese hasn't played for Tottenham yet either. We're one to be part of the under 20, and we didn't take them.
My thing about it now, Cranky, is that how do you balance the blooding of academy players into the national team with the blooding of the other players or senior players? Say, if you're looking and saying, Rumorn, I think is ready to play for the senior team. Madasil is ready to play for the senior team. But how do you make a justification of the others being not them ready to play for the senior team?
That must be wait. This must be a rhetorical question. You know why justify it?
Mm-hmm. No,
but I can answer that question with examples.
I know you can answer my question, but the examples that you're going to give me.
Yeah, what about them?
I am saying realistically.
But it happens, so it's realistic. It happened.
I'm not talking about going back to what the man them do, the foolishness what the man them do.
No. So let me say this, people. There are 2 players who have deemed to have significant potential, who have done well in the past, who were brought to the national team. right? One hasn't been there in a while. No, but it's a fact. They have significant potential. They're viewed as the next big thing. They're brought to the national team, right?
Yeah.
They have significant potential. And they were that's the potential was only in Jamaica. We didn't see some places. One went out and did well. So talk about Whisper, who was in the Chelsea Academy, straight from schoolboy football went to the national team, right? But was the only one that way. And then we had Dixon subsequently, who's now at Charlton. Tyrese Hall is in Tottenham's Academy, under 20 player, who is viewed as one of the next big thing, who's viewed as and I was told by somebody that one of these players on this list said he's the best young player at his age in England, the position he played, right? That's what I was told by, I don't want to say who say what, because some of these things are hearsay. Secondly, Johnson is captain in under 20, under 18 for Ajax, and then probably similar thing I was told, someone just mentioned in the chat, I don't know if that's true or not, for Holland. So they have significant potential. We have all talked about capping these players early, so we don't have to go through this process when they want to play for us, because they can't play for nobody else, unless we release them, right? When they're still underage. But if we don't, they can't play nobody else, correct?
All right, correct.
So if we give other local players the opportunity, why we can give diaspora the same opportunity?
No man, yeah man, understandably so.
Okay.
So looking at that now, what is your midfield?
Oh, starting midfield. As I said,
like your midfielders, because
my list is on the board. My list is on the board.
So, your list already?
Yes, I have my 23 with some asterisks. I was told that Johnson may be in this 23, but I didn't put him in.
But
there.
I don't see you pick all 7 players.
What do you mean? No, I didn't pick all 7 players.
All the 7.
No, I didn't pick all 7 because that's not how I am. I'm gonna pick the players I believe will be in the team versus those others, are speculating will be in the team. I didn't pick all 7. I don't think all 7 will be there.
All right. Let me look.
Not because you have your passport sees and you say this should mean you should be in the team.
No, I know. Let me see. And in terms of your list at forward, how we have right at forward.
See the forward is there. See there?
I think I need to pull up my computer and see.
I can tell you. I have Mothersill, I have Brown, and I have either Shamar or Antonio, depending whether Antonio is fit or not.
Listen, all right. So Mothersill, Brown. Which Brown this?
Warner Brown from Arnett Gardens.
All right, so Warner Brown, Mothersill. You know whom that carry? The other guy from the rumor, the guy from Burton.
That's the problem we're running into, right? So
I'm gonna tell you why.
So you leave out Shamar, you're saying, yeah.
I'm leaving out Shamar, man. I'm telling you because the thing about it is, for me, I'm looking at farm and I'm saying that this young kid is coming in. He must score up a couple of goals down in League One, right. And we are bringing him in as a new recruit. Shamar hasn't really been getting enough game time. So I'm thinking about giving somebody else a next look. Or probably bringing Trivantes to what?
Well, the question is, when would you do it? Because here's the problem we run into. We have to score a lot of goals in BVI game and goals in the game against Guatemala. Well, we got to beat Guatemala, frankly, to ensure that we don't end up in Costa Rica and Panama zone, right? So the question is, would I trust a young kid versus Shamar? I don't think Shamar has played well to be in the team, but I have him here with an asterisk. I have 3 asterisks. I have Shamar, I have Casey Palmer, and I have Oldgate. To me, all 3 can go. Seriously. all 3 can be replaced, and we wouldn't lose anything.
I like how you say it because I remember when Oldgate was playing. I'm gonna tell people say I don't know. Oldgate is indecent with the ball at his feet, but he's not a player I've ever fancied.
Well, you know what we think about Jamal. You know what we think about Damian Lowe, that he's a walking red card, even though he'll give me a hard time. He tells me you're wrong because I've gotten 3 red cards in my career for Jamaica or something like that. Holgate is a walking red card. Holgate already got a red card with us. Man, just come join. Already got one. Walking red card. Walking red card.
So may I say based on your list still, as I said before, I think Trivantes Stewart has gotten a raw deal from that suspension, Cranky, because I know he was part of the suspension. A 2 player get suspended and people still don't like everybody create an excitement over Leon Bailey being suspended. But I think Trivantes was suspended as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They both violated curfew, and they're both but Shevante doesn't have that pedigree.
Yeah, but I think if he's over in his league that he's playing and he must score a couple of goals, Ranky, like why we can't give him back a look?
That's not a Trevante issue. No, that's an issue as you talked about before with players who are locally born, who are playing in leagues which are not prominent. So if you're in the MLS, if you're in the top 5 leagues in Europe, you're going to be seen. If you are in some place in Serbia or even Turkey, which is a decent league, who play Champions League football, you're just going to struggle.
But even the league that Trevante plays Champions League football, you might not end up with on a team right now that is in the Champions League, but you have the possibility of playing either Champions League, even the same league where people cost, the Conference League. Are you telling me that if a player is playing in the Conference League or Europa League, they're not good enough to be in the team what we're going to put? I think somebody tell me, I think somebody said today it was what? 26. How much JPL players them say? About
it's probably 20 something JPL. It's probably it's about 20. You know what? I could go to the list, I can pull it up. It's a lot of players. It's on the CONCACAF site.
Yeah, I saw it on the CONCACAF site. So
it's on the CONCACAF site. So let me see if I can pull it up.
But the reason why I look for players who are informed. John Russell, if you look at John Russell and Louis Baker, those are two players I think have to be in the midfield. If them not in the midfield, Cranky, I'm going to the press conference. I'm going to go chat.
Oh, you mean John Russell and who?
John Russell and Louis Baker is a must pick.
So, well, then Hayden is a must pick. You know that, right?
I mean, all right.
Hayden is a must pick. Hayden is the must pick in the midfield.
All right. Put it to you like this. I think Aiden, as you said, picking Aiden, I have no problem with Aiden being picked. But I think John Russell and Louis Baker is even a greater must pick than Isaac Aiden.
No, I think Isaac Aiden is the must pick in the midfield just because we struggle with the 6th position. Unless you're bringing like a Johnson, for example.
From Ajax.
Unless you're bringing like a Johnson. Yeah.
He's a 6, Cranky.
Yeah, I know.
So, like, and then when we look on the likes of the players where Ajax produced, like Netherlands would have produced the Seedorf and those guys. You have to tell me, I don't look at you, let me bring man. We don't know, we'll probably end up with the next Clarence Seedorf in Jamaica.
Look, I mean, anything is possible. I don't know he's getting that well to make such a.
Look at the holding midfielders them where the Netherlands produce, Cranky.
I know, but who say he has that capability?
That is why I say I'm taking the chance on him. They already taking the chance by putting him in the provisional squad, and I suspect they have watched him play football on tape. They would have had tape on him before. So I'm taking a chance on him. I'm not saying I have no problem with Aiden, It's me, but I tell you, say Louis Baker, John Russell are two midfielders that has to be in the team. So if any of them want to slice it and put it, I'm telling you my midfield, Cranky. Louis Baker, Isaac Aiden, John Russell, the little kid from Ajax, Johnson. Oh, I don't see players yet. So I'm picking up.
So you're picking based on you can't do that like you.
Cranky, may I say I am picking a player I've not seen played as yet. I'm giving the coaches them what they call it. May I give them may I look to them wisdom. The fact that them pick this player at his age, well, there must be something there. So may I say, you know what? Bring him in IT. So
well, they didn't pick him for the under-20. Can you imagine that? So we have 2 players who was picked for the under-20, but those 2 players have been called up for the national team 1 year after they didn't pick for the under-20.
So how much midfield have that make you? The 4, Mr. Johnson, Louis Baker, Isaac Aiden.
Which Johnson? Which Johnson?
Johnson, John Russell.
Okay.
Louis Baker, Isaac Aiden.
And
Johnson. The same Johnson.
So Johnson, Baker, Russell, and Hayden, right?
Yeah, that's 4 already.
Okay.
I'm not too convinced about Casey Palmer, And I know he's been a part of the team before. So he kind of want to have a little chemistry. So here we have Casey Palmer. Casey Palmer. That's a 5. Bobby Reid fit. So if Bobby Reid fit, Bobby Reid, when I use Casey Palmer, Bobby Reid. So I'm going to put Bobby Reid as my 5. Those are my 5 midfielders. Cranky.
Yeah.
So then I go wing and I have Leon Bailey, Demarai Gray.
Wait, hold up. I gotta pull up my what I do with my list. So I see 24 locally based players in this. I don't know if Maybe I miscount. I went through this quickly. I see 24. It could be, I could have missed one or two. So I'm running through the list here. I see 24. You guys can tell me. I'm going to leave the list here, people. You can count it yourself and tell me what you see. I see 24, but some of the names are overlap. So it's somewhere in that region, 24, 26, whatever the region. It's more than, it's almost half of the team, actually, that's locally based.
Yeah, man. I say Leon.
And a lot of them are from Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant. Well, there's a Mount Pleasant now accumulate the most points, score the most goal, all of them things.
That is true.
The best team in our league. So I mean, we can understand it.
Well, I'm surprised you don't have more players from the other teams that made the semis. So Arnett Gardens and Montego Bay United.
No, because really and truly, when you look at Arnett, only one player really. If you look at Arnett, I don't think Arnett have more than two players who can say stand out. I think it's more of a team than you have where you can look at individual players that I think are at the level to can get an opportunity at the senior level.
Right.
So they have like Warner Brown. Even Speed look like him in that insult them because Speed was said sometimes people say you have to beat the whole team, but tonight we had to just beat two players. That's what he was missing.
I heard that, but you hear him say also he's not conflicted, right? In fact, he says he says the least conflicted person in Jamaica.
No, because I heard him. Listen, I don't want to say this doing. I heard him mention something about a Mount Pleasant person and a director on the board.
He did that to profess the conflict argument. He's saying the JFF board has a Mount Pleasant person as part of the board. As such, people are saying he's conflicted. What he fails to say, though, is the Mount Pleasant person doesn't decide who the national coach is, doesn't control the technical group of the JFF, so therefore doesn't have the influence that he does. Because you're in a role doesn't mean you're conflicted in that perspective. Because the question is, how do you affect in your team, and how would you give a team an unfair advantage?
Yeah, that's true. Still,
so I don't understand the analogy he's making. And the press, and he's beating the press, and the press has no comeback. They just sit there, I would love to be in that. I wish he'd said that when I'm interviewing him. If I interview him, well, it may never happen again. I would wish he would say that in front of me, so I could lay out the groundwork of what a conflict is and how he's conflicted versus the Mount Pleasant executive on the board. Because the press is there. And smart. And no. The man called you out. He said you guys are biased. What are you biased about? Now, sometimes it's hard to do that because you're trying to get an interview from him and he can just walk away. Then it defeats the purpose of the audience and what they're trying to attain. But you're going to go off on a tangent and say the press is biased and they're this and there's more people conflicted than him. And the press don't do their research. You're right, Rudolph Speed. Sorry, CC. The press in Jamaica don't do their research. Traditional based, they don't do no research. Okay, their research, they'll be beaten from now till next Sunday. They would go back to when the cuss officer, you're conflicted and explain what it is. They would go to you, coaching your team, sporting director, owner, and that you run the technical committee. And you decide what coach gets selected. And you can influence the process, what the coach does. And you have 4 or 5 people that attend the team, masseuse, manager, all sort of people in the under-20 team. And you say you don't have no influence? Are you not conflicted? No, you're right. You can beat them because they're not doing their work. You're right about that. Go ahead, CC. I apologize for going off on a tangent.
Yeah. So in terms of the wing, in terms of the wingers, I think it have, as I said, Demari Gray, Leon Bailey, Ronaldo Cephas, and I think this name of people are gonna probably wonder why I may have put him out there. So, but that's why I pick him to his mother still. And the reason why is that more free up the forward line because I'm gonna end up pick. I think I'm going with Rumor, as I said, I would pick him. I would pick like me that bring in Boza. I'm taking your point about Boza and say, you know what, pick Boza as well, and then pick a third player in terms of that forward lineup in Trevante Stewart.
Oh, so you want Trevante at whose expense?
So no, the 3 players I just name, Remember, I'm naming my players that I would like to see.
So your forward line is what again? Sorry.
So I was saying Trevante, Boza, and Roman, right? But I'm picking Madasil, but Madasil play like I'm picking Madasil in the midfield. Like why?
But why you want to play Madasil? Unless Madasil is a forward, or you can put him at 10, but you can put him on midfield.
That's why I say we can play him at 10. That's why I say I would play him.
No. You guys are confused. The 10th spot is taken. We got a semblance of what the squad is going to look like and the team going to look like the last series of games. Bailey on the right, Gray in the 10, somebody else on the left. Cephas was then, he may get replaced. That's the team. With somebody up front like a Warner Brown or Mothersill or Shamar.
Oh yeah, bro. Warner
So then you only have two midfield slot. In Hayden, you only have one. It's either Palmer or Lewis Baker or Russell.
Palmer.
Huh?
Casey Palmer, the youth, may I tell you, say Johnson, I would prefer Johnson than Casey Palmer.
No, I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying, I think the coach may go with tried and tested versus going somebody new. Unless you see the kids play and he's impressing.
You know that, all right, but I understand about the tried and tested, you know, but my problem is this. Casey Palmer now going to play the 10. And if he now play the 10, Cranky, he's not going to look good for Jamaica. Because in the other roles that he has gotten, he don't really look that good for
So people are saying Lewis Baker for the 10. And you know Lewis score goals, right?
Yeah, I know Lewis score goals.
You get assists or put the ball in the net, one or two.
That's why I'm saying that if that's why I'm saying you would carry the kid and make the kid play the 6. I see them have Aiden.
But you're gonna beat Aiden. Aiden is not gonna lose his spot. Aiden is Premier League tried and tested. He's not gonna lose his spot.
All right, let's put it like this. Let the kid play in the Unity Cup and play number 6, and they will work it out from there. Because if he plays in the Unity Cup and he looks good against these teams in the Unity Cup, he's the one may start, Cranky.
Yes. So the Unity Cup is where the coach should be experimenting, right? That should be the whole purpose of Unity Cup. You're gonna experiment with JPL players or players on the outskirts of the team. Players on the periphery of the team.
I don't think JPL, never said this. And I think a lot of people as after JPL players, I think you experiment with the new players that they're trying to bring in and see what they can give you. A lot of the JPL players, they would have gotten them opportunity against Trinidad. I think the Unity Cup now is for the other new players to get an opportunity. Like the Tyrese Campbell, like to see how they fit together, so see how the parts fit together, Cranky. And then you can say, oh, this is my decision going into the
I see, that's very logical. I hope the coach is as logical as you are.
Because it cannot be a case where we use some players in a Trinidad game. We already saw what they can do. I'm not saying
I cannot do more.
I cannot do. We saw what they can do and I cannot do.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So coming into the Unity Cup, we have 7 new players that we brought in. Are we going to put them on the roster, say 60 man, or we have an opportunity to look at them in a Unity Cup? We just plug them in the Unity Cup and plug the rest of the squad around them, and then find out how best we can utilize them. Because some players might work out, some players might not work out. I'm
afraid to say that's too logical. That's too logical. It has to be more complicated than that. It's too logical. I'm dead serious. It's too logical. It's too logical. I don't think we think like that around the football. A friend of mine told me football is complex, and I was like, I don't think so.
Because look at it, Cranky. Casey Palmer, I don't think we need to have him play in the Unity Cup. I think Bowser needs to play because you want to get him like much fitness, sharpness. But I don't think a Casey Palmer, because if it doesn't work out for a Johnson in the Unity Cup, we can always lean back onto a Casey Palmer for the Gold Cup because we know what Casey Palmer can do. So we can always insert him in the team and he would be familiar with the players that are in the team already. But we don't know what Johnson can do with the players around him and playing like for the international team. They might know what he can do at a club level, at the academy level, but you don't know what he can do at this level as yet. So I think you can't just name the player, and there's no other time frame for you to blood the players, because right now, as I see it to Cranky, the Gold Cup to me too is kind of experimental too.
Hey, CC, the man might beat you, CC, bad than CC. Man, you me tell when the man say CC, they must say, who is the imposter on the phone? You can read the comments afterwards. I must say that.
Cranky, I know, so I don't understand. Me an accountant, your accountant, Cranky. Accountants are logical.
No, them say the logic doesn't come across historically when you speak. All of a sudden, you've gotten logical. They're like, where is the real CC? Is this his twin brother? What is happening? They say, CC, come off the phone now, before you revert back to who you were.
But Cranky, look at it like this. I think, just like Jose and some other coaches you have seen, you play with the hand that you are dealt. Yep. And the hand that we are dealt is 7 brand new players, which some of them are very, very good players. Like I think Mothersill, we would have seen some of them. We have seen some of him. Rumorn, the amount of goals him score. I watched some clips because I haven't seen him play. So I went and when I saw the name, I pull up some clips and I'm looking at him and I'm like, it does look like a decent prospect. So you look at some of these players that they are put on the list, would be decent prospects. And if it is that you have these guys, why not try to blood them in? I think Tyrese Hall is a midfielder, and then the other young guy, Johnson, is a number 6.
In fact, they can play beside each other. It's a 6 and an 8, yeah.
A 6 and an 8, like that's a 6 and an 8. One is 18, one is 20. So, like, what are we thinking about? We have Aiden. Aiden might not be around more than 3 years, but guess what happened? Aiden can learn. They can learn from Isaac.
That is true. But see. So you're confused, and I am confused. There's no way the people in charge who are making these decisions that sits in the technical ear of the JFF thinks that way. None. No way, shape, or form. They don't think that.
No. I don't know, Cranky, because when I look at the blend of youth and we also know we are going to need to have the squad blended with some CONCACAF experience and some international experience. But you have like Blake who have a lot of caps with the national team already. Boza, as you rightfully said, based on the fact that he has 50 plus caps, he has scored a lot of he has scored over 19 goals. So you'd want to.
In fact, he has one of the best goal ratio for Jamaica, you know. The numbers are getting worsening over the last number of games because he has been scoring, but his ratio of goals, I think currently he's the highest scorer, right, for Jamaica. He scored a lot of goals. Like
against Canada in Canada, I think even against Panama too. So I mean,
Costa Rica, he scored some good big goals. Yeah, he scored some big goals.
And I think even US, did he not score against US as well?
I can't recall, but I know Antonio scored against US. Yeah.
But as I said before, I think based on how you're looking at the makeup of the squad and the provisional squad, the only right now I can't tell anybody this. I think the only JPL player might get into the team is Warner Brown.
No, I think Richard King will get in.
I mean, I guess they look at the defense and the defense look a bit meager.
We don't have any Bernard. We're not sure about low status. Yeah. Pinnock sometimes is injured. Pinnock has been in and out of Brentford team. Richard King can get a chance.
I would consider playing I'm thinking about something. If Shaquan Davis is on the bench at Mount Pleasant and Chambers is the one starting in the playoffs, who do I pick?
Shaquan is in the 60-man squad.
Yeah, but Chambers is in the 60-man as well.
Yeah, but Shaquan has been in the national team from forever, hasn't he?
Yeah, but
so you're saying it's a great point. It's the same about Tyrese Campbell and Dixon, which is, even though it's probably worse in that situation, but you're saying, how come you can displace the starter with somebody on the bench? It's a good point. I should revisit that one.
That's what I'm saying. That like I think Chambers I've heard on the ground, and I've watched both of them keep, and I'm hearing that Chambers is the better keeper.
Well, the coach thinks so, doesn't he?
It's just that he was injured.
Okay.
And the former national coach thinks Chambers is the better keeper because once he got back from injury, he's starting in the playoffs, the most important period of the teams. But
Mount Pleasant buy up a lot of good players, right? They have too many good players, don't they?
Yes,
they just buy up the best players, them, and even some players who start for a lot of teams don't get in the team.
No, man. But listen, I think when I look at it, one of those players is going to have to leave. But I mean, I hear Mount Pleasant is shelling out the dollars. So even if you're sitting on the bench, you're not going to leave. But Cranky, one of those players.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, but I think Chambers, I would select Chambers and play him in the cup to see what he has. All right, put it like this: Chambers, Corey Adai, Jamal Lewis.
Chambers. Oh, you mean you talking about for the Unity Cup or for the
Unity Cup?
So you would replace
Shaquan.
So you replace Shaquan.
He might take a game at club level. He might take a game.
So you say you would replace him in the Gold Cup squad? You're saying somebody's talking about Boyce Clark. I don't think JFF is bringing in Boyce Clark, so I'm not putting Boyce Clark in this because I think JFF is very comfortable with the keepers they have.
Yeah, I'm thinking that if I can take your game.
That's a good point. That's a good. I don't really focus on keepers a lot, to be honest. It's the same old people. Unless Blake get injured, he's gonna.
But I don't think Andre Blake is coming.
Not to Unity Cup. This squad is not Unity Cup. This squad is Gold Cup squad. It's Gold Cup squad. It's Gold Cup squad. But you're right about Shaquan. He may not make the Gold Cup squad then. But it's also the coach wouldn't know. The coach has to wait on somebody to tell him. He wouldn't know.
Because he hasn't played since I think May the 3rd now. Look like him injured.
Okay. You said Shaquan is injured?
No, I'm saying Andre, because I think he last played the 3rd of May.
Right.
So I'm not even sure if he's going to be 100%. But I think Shaquan should be replaced with Chambers though. A man can't take a game at club level and I bring up in a big bad national team. Now bring them, like put it like this, Cranky. We have to get away from making the mistakes of bringing players that are sitting on the bench. We have to get players that are actually starting more. I'm not saying that he's going to start, you know. But what if you need to play something happen to the first choice keeper? I'm thinking your Shaquan is probably the second choice.
Yeah.
So how you're going to come from sitting on the bench to the national team, sitting on the next bench, and then if something happened to the keeper, you're going on the field to play.
Yeah. Connor Boyce Clark is at Reading, and he's what? But I don't think we focus on keepers actually. Then they come to the keepers they have, and if you want to maintain your quota system in the national team, you got to keep the keepers in there. So Boyce Clark has to be keeping in the Premier League to be in this team, and even then he probably wouldn't start. That's a fact.
I mean, to be honest, like I don't think because we struggling in the goalkeeper department. I guess that's why them not really. I look over.
No, we don't really struggle. Exactly, but that's how it normally is, right? You don't struggle in a certain area. Why is it doesn't cost you games. The only first two you got to worry about. You ain't worried about your third keeper. You're good.
Yeah, but I mean, as I said, Cranky, logically speaking, that's the things that I've said. That's how I think they need to go about it. Because after the Unity Cup, it's straight into the World Cup qualifiers and then into the Gold Cup, which I think the Gold Cup can be experimental because it's going to be Club World Cup in the same window. I don't know if this is going to be.
When are the Unity Cup? So Unity Cup are the games on TV?
I'm not sure if the games are on TV. I don't know. I'm gonna find out and see.
You know what? I'm gonna text somebody to find out. I did text somebody earlier and get back.
I don't want Jamaica cannot be playing and I'm not seeing Jamaica playing. I wouldn't want that. But it's a good look that they got Lewis Baker still because I see he scored a couple of goals and injury kind of doing bad. I think all right, Cranky. The final thing before I go.
Oh, by the way, people, I got my reply. I didn't really check my phone. The Unity Cup squad is being named on Thursday.
Yeah, I think they said it.
Yeah. But I had forgotten about it. So somebody asked me a question today.
Well, I said, Cranky, the last thing before I go. Do you notice how many of these players that we have brought in, new players, came through at Chelsea Youth Academy?
A lot. A lot. No, like seriously, like a lot. So you go check the list. I was checking some players today. Chelsea, because Chelsea by everybody. Chelsea. Even what's his name? Which one was it? Was it Mothersill? Was at Chelsea for a while. He was supposed to go to Everton. There was a big issue, and he got sold, right?
So you know that ain't Cranky. After I support my side, man.
Oh, that's why you were logical tonight.
So if you are bringing so much Chelsea youth.
Yeah, it's a lot of Chelsea X. Bruce Baker is Chelsea. Mothersill is Chelsea. It's a lot of Chelsea X. A lot.
Yeah, grow. I think there's another guy there. I think Dimitri. There's a couple other guys there who I came.
No, I think Dimitri was Manu. No,
man, Dimitri Manu for you.
Yeah, Dimitri Manu.
But there's another one there, if I'm not mistaken. There's another one there that is Chelsea as well. Tyrese too. But it's Tottenham. It's Chelsea and Tottenham.
Which Tyrese? Campbell?
Tyrese Hall.
Oh, Hall. Okay. Yeah, Tyrese is Tottenham. He's at Tottenham now, actually, and there's discussion about why he's not in given opportunity in the first team.
Casey Palmer was Chelsea too, Remember that,
Yeah, a lot of those kids, some of them get discovered, right? The scouts go discovered and they bring them in. Chelsea want to buy everybody. That's their history, every and anybody. So
no, remember one at a time, we had dominate the youth cups,
No, you don't understand because you buy everybody. You had the most players out on loan. I mean, you're confused. Most players out on loan across, and you'd send them to Genk and in everywhere.
Right now, we have two sides. One side in the Champions League players already, Strasbourg, You see the team of over the Andre Santos and all of those guys.
I keep telling you, you buy so many players. Your model has It's worked and it's failed, actually. It depends on how you look at it. It's worked and it's failed. It's worked in the context of you can have those players, they're out on loan. When you get them on loan, they may pay their club their fee, right? Their wages, so you don't have to worry about their wages. And then you may sell them on for a profit. But a lot of them don't, they end up down in the lower leagues because it's a hit and miss game, isn't it? So,
but I'm not telling no lie though. I mean, based on what I've seen so far, a couple of players I'm bringing, the only player that I don't see it is, I think, like Mason Greenwood, and you know, that's the only one that probably
Mason Greenwood is God.
That's
a whole discussion by itself.
That's the one thing that we're looking for. But I mean, when you look at the squad, Cranky, I think some of the players, as I said, Remar and Mothersill, a couple of those players are ready to play right now. A couple of the other players, I don't know. I'm not sure of their potential. I have to go and look at them. I haven't seen them play. I've seen a team.
Have you seen Tyrese play? Have you seen Tyrese play?
No, I haven't seen him play. I don't
he plays for Charlton, right? He played in the playoff the other day against Wickham.
Oh, that one. I thought he won at Tottenham. I saw Tyrese one. I don't want at Tottenham.
Tyrese Hall, you're talking about.
I saw the Tottenham one on the bench. I saw Tyrese Hall on the bench.
Okay.
For Tottenham. So I'm thinking if he can make Tottenham bench, he can make Jamaica bench.
Yeah, but Jamaica team in our bench.
No, me. Just say like you can make Tottenham bench, like you must can make
Tottenham, the Premier League team, you know.
The Cranky Tottenham in the Europa League final. Tottenham can end up in the Champions League next season.
No, they can't go into. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I thought you said the championship. No, they get in the championship.
If they win the Champions, the Europa League, they're going to the Champions League.
Yeah. So he's getting a lot of accolades about his ability. He's getting a lot of looking. Jamaica should cap both him and Johnson right away. But they shouldn't even think about it. Bring him to the Gold Cup. Get him game.
I don't see them up on the list. Casanova.
Oh no, it's not on the list. Neither is Kadama. What's his name? Kadamatari.
Kadamatari.
Kadamatari. Yeah, he's not on this. But I think he just came back from injury, so his is explainable.
What happened? But I think when he made that choice, and listen, man,
I'm good. Trust me.
All right.
The amount of things he went through to get his citizenship. There are some people don't realize that some people go through. Him spend enough money to get him citizenship. So at the end of the day, even though he was called for England under 18, whatever, he's all right.
You're a young youth. Keep your options open.
Yeah, he should.
Keep your options open, and then if certain things work out, they work out. You're young enough.
I think he's gonna play for Jamaica.
Yeah. I mean, I think when a lot of these other youngsters come and play for Jamaica, the next set of players that we get is going to be dependent on how we treat the Tyrese Hall, the Tyrese Campbell, the Johnson. It's how we treat these set of players that we are getting in. It's going to the next set that we're getting is going to be dependent on that, Cranky. And what we should be focusing on right now is we have a first team, we build the first team, and then we focus on our development and blending it with the recruitment. Because it doesn't make any sense to try to fight players to get into the team when you don't have anybody to put in the team. We don't have you don't have anybody on a certain level to put into the team. So why fight? Because the national team will not develop the player to the level that you want them to be.
All right, Cece, that's the last word, because it's in my last word.
That's my last word still.
All right, Cece. Big up. Thanks for the call, Cece. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Everyone, it's been like 4 hours in total since I've been on. It was 2 hours for the last show. It's 2 hours for this show. First of all, your attendance, your engagement, your involvement in this program is appreciated. It's not taken for granted. I do appreciate you. I thank you for being here. And I thank some of you I didn't mention it again, but before I go, hitting the like button. I hope you share. And if you haven't subscribed, I hope you subscribe to the channel. We'll try to bring you content, but not just content, quality content in terms of what's happening. It's going to be interesting going forward, seeing the national team and where it's going. We all get frustrated when we see the players that we like. I know the Ravel thing is really, it's like a knife in certain people. Frustrated because they know his ability. We don't know what's happening. Maybe at some point we can reach out to Ravel and go in his DM and ask him what the hell is happening. Right? Because we're very surprised that he hasn't made the final squad. But here's what I would say before I go, which is that we should keep the faith. I think the coach is now realizing what he needs to do. It's not a retirement job. It's a real job. He needs to take it seriously. And he needs to put in the work to make sure that when this whole process is done, he doesn't walk away with regrets, because that happens to people all the time, and that he didn't give it his all. Because if he gives it his all, we would appreciate that, and we will see it. And end of the day, we see what Busby's doing. People, Busby's in Jamaica, ton. I haven't been to Jamaica in a while. I'll probably be there down this year sometime. But Busby's putting in the work, because that's how you do it. You don't just stay remotely and say, oh, you know, this person doing it for me. No, you go meet people, you talk to people, you go observe, you go in culture, educate yourself, put yourself in, indoctrinate yourself with the culture, what's happening, what's seeing, engage with the JFF, engage with local coaches, see what's happening. Because even though your mandate is to get us to the World Cup, you may be able to add some of the values going to be further appreciated. People are going to say, you know what, he came and he just blend. People remember you when you're involved and when you invest and when the outcome may not have been positive, but they see that you care. If you don't care, it's going to be noticeable. If you do care, that's also noticeable. So I care. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you, and have a wonderful evening. Thanks for being here. Peace out. I won't even go out with an introductory video. I'm just going to close it out, people. Bless up.